I'd like to talk to you for just a minute about stamping in your Bible. Stamping is a really easy way to get a beautiful layout going, and I started to write in the words to make our joy complete, and I realized I need to stamp in the flowers that I'm going to do first. So now you can get blocks a lot smaller than this. Anywhere, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, you can get different sizes of blocks, and you only need one as big as your biggest stamp. I'm really bad. I cut the tops off the containers of stamps, and then I don't know where they're from, so I don't know whose stamp this is, but it's a really nice set, and I'm going to just, let's see, I'm gonna do something kind of like that. I'm not happy with the layout. This is the nice thing. You can take the stamps and kind of figure out your layout. There. I like that. To make our joy complete, it's going to have to be a little bit lower. There we go. So now you just take this block, put your stamp on. Now I happen to have hybrid ink here. You want probably the Memento ink would be good for this type of project. The hybrid ink is okay. It doesn't give the best stamp, but it's not words, it's flowers, so it should be all right. And do lay your I used to be a Stampin' Up! Consultant, so I know this. Lay your stamp down and go over it with the pad rather than trying to press your stamp down onto the pad. I've made a mess here. And then turn it over. I want mine to kind of hang down off the page. And hold it there for a minute. Don't just pull it right back up. There we go. And then I'm going to clean the stamp before I move on. See how nice that looks? And it's so simple. The only drawback to stamping is you've got to spend money on the stamps, and personally I don't like to use them over and over. You know, once I've used the flowers, I'm pretty much done with the flower garden, so then you have to sell them and buy more. But if you had some friends to trade with, that would be good. Just don't rock it. Don't rock it back and forth. So there's a nice, easy layout. I'm going to let this dry for a while, and then I'm either going to use watercolors or color pencils to do this. In fact, I was testing out the ink here. You can see how it kind of came through. Let's see if it came through on this. Yes. So the ink is coming through, the hybrid ink. And you can offset that by using gesso on your page before you start stamping. This is Art Basics. It's an inexpensive gesso, and I recommend it highly for your Bible. It's perfect. In fact, I did use some up here. I can feel it, but I didn't use it down here for some reason. I don't know what I had planned. Anyway, so I stamped the same stamp, the same flower in here, and I was trying out the watercolors to see if they went through on the travel journal, and it came through there. But this is a technique here that's fun. You take your marker, you need a water-based marker, and you do the outline, even if there's no little line like there is right there. Like, see the center of this flower? What I've done is I've taken the marker and I drew around. Then I took the water brush pen, and the way these water brushes work is they hold water in the barrel and you kind of squeeze and the water comes down. So I took the water and painted that marker into the center. And I've done the same thing here, and you can see that I left the, the lightest part is actually just paper. I didn't paint any over the middle, and that's actually what you want to do. I've gone over the entire flower here and here in the center, but things look better if you leave some white on all of them. If you want to try that, you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's just finish up this flower and I can show you how this works. Not real sure of these colors yet in this. I haven't used this a whole lot. The color came out so strong it was kind of a shock, and I didn't use it a lot. So what you do is you just go right around the edge. Whoops. I was going to show you with a marker, wasn't I? No, with a brush. That's okay. So then I'm going to take the paint off my brush and pretend I just did that with the marker. And now I'm going to just pull that color down and see it will kind of soften that edge and bring the color in. It's a real nice technique. Let's do it correctly this time, since I said I was doing it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I take my pen and I make sure some water's coming down, and I paint from the edge inward. And there you go. Now you don't want to do too much with your marker. I don't know how far you can go with this. I took a class in this, but it was, the designs were a lot larger, so I'm not sure. But the teacher said don't, try to do the whole thing with marker and then come back, because your marker will have dried too much. So I'm going to assume that's true. And like right there where it didn't really get it, you need to go back over it, and you probably need to make sure the water is coming down through the water brush. That's the key. Now I keep wet wipes. I have wet wipes here under my desk in my secret shelf, and I'm always wiping. So, if you were to change colors, which we're not, of course, but if you were, you would want to wipe your brush real well in between, even dip it in the water. I have my clean water. We call this dirty water, but it's clean right now. But that's where I dip it first, and then I wipe it dry. Then I dip it into the clean water, and I've got clean water on the brush. And you can tell that's moving better because it had a little bit more water on it. So that's the technique for the flowers, unless I decide to color them with colored pencils. So here are the watercolors I was using. Fan Pan is what this is called, and it fans out. And it comes with one of these brushes. came in this holder. It's got something here to wipe it on. It's got a tray underneath where you can mix your paints if you need to. And the colors are just as bright as they can be. It's not a watercolor effect. It's more like an acrylic look, which I think is kind of cool. So if you want to try that, I'll leave you a link below. Hi there. I wanted to show you my 1 John page, the first page. The verse I wanted to highlight is, we write this to make your joy complete, or to make our joy complete, depending on which version you're reading. So I wrote this in pen, to make our joy, and this ended up being a gel pen. I have a huge set of gel pens, and so this was, I tried a gold and it didn't look very gold to me. Today it looks okay. I think it was the lighting. So here's my set of gel pens, and I'll link them for you. I think this was the one, so I went around it again with a different one, but it's a little messy now, so I'll straighten it out. And then down below it, I stamped those flowers. I may have already done that on a video for you, but I stamped the flowers, and then I colored them in with acrylic pens. Now these are just inexpensive Amazon Artistro paint marker pens, and they did great for this. They were a really good choice for coloring in these. And so it's to make our joy complete. What I wanted to do was heat emboss a banner and put the word complete in it, and I think I've changed my mind. So I could either do stickers, or I thought I could use or this one is even bigger and more dramatic, so I may use that one. And I think I'll just use a gel pen for that. So you want to make sure it's straight, and I'm looking over at the words. I think it lines up with the words. So I'm going to trace this. Oh, great. Now, and we want the word complete in here. I don't know, the whole time I've been kind of imagining it in purple, so I guess I'll use a purple pen. It isn't perfect, but it's done. And now gel pens, you do want to leave it untouched for a little bit because they will smear. So I'm just going to leave that. You could also put a different sheet of paper over it to protect the writing while you're turning the page.